Gang, so when it comes to the MK Ultra hearing, right? We want to know what's up with all the lies. We want to know what's up with all the discrepancies, all the secrets that's held, right? And in this video that I'm finna show y'all, we finna get right to the bottom of that right now. So I need y'all to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We got some news to get into, right? We do. We got some news to get into. We finna get right into it. We diving. We finna dive right into it, y'all. Because like I said, it's a whole bunch of lies going on. And we wanna know what's taking place, right? Let's go.
My stated objectives, the MKUltra files were destroyed by the order of DCI Mr. Helms shortly before his departure from office. A separate internal account confirms that Helms telephoned Dr. Gottlieb directly and instructed him to destroy, quote, all files pertaining to drug research and associated activities. Gottlieb compiled 4 people, spent an entire day burning down 152 files. Then Gottlieb had his personal papers destroyed by his secretary before he retired. The head of the CIA-owned Records Center protested the destruction in writing, but he was overruled. That is obstruction of justice. That is criminal destruction of federal records, and neither individuals were ever charged with a crime for it. Helms received a $2,000 fine for lying to Congress about an unrelated matter and collected his government pension until he died. Gottlieb retired in rural Virginia and wrote poetry. No one went to prison. No victim was ever formally compensated by the government for the harm that they caused. By 1975, the Church Committee and the Rockefeller Commission had already established through sworn testimony and the surviving 1963 Inspector General report that MKUltra existed and that the CIA had run a program of human experimentation on unwitting Americans. The scope and detail of what we know today is largely because of an accident. In 1977, an archivist diligently complying with a FOIA request discovered 7 boxes of MKUltra financial records that had been misfiled and escaped the bonfire. Those 7 boxes included the names of institutions, the name of subprojects, the researchers who participated, the specific operation that the CIA had funded, and without them, the vast majority of MKUltra would only be a rumor, just as Helms and Gottlieb intended. Those 7 boxes revealed that MKUltra comprised at least 149 subprojects, operated across more than 80 institutions, and involved 185 non-government researchers. They revealed that the CIA covertly contributed $375,000 to a hospital research wing, which was approved directly by DCI Alan Dulles, which Richard Helms concurrence, so the agency could use unwitting patients as experimental subjects in what their own documents called a hospital safe house. The CIA-owned Inspector General said in 1963 his classified report concluded that the program had exceeded the agency's legal chapter, and covert testing on unwitting subjects placed the rights and interests of U.S. citizens in jeopardy. The program ran for a decade.
So first of all, gang, we gotta start right there. Knowing that they was doing programs to work on us, like knowing that they was, funding programs to create these delusional states or to create these, scenarios where humans or civilians around the world think they tripping. People think they having, mental problems. You feel me? To know that the USA was doing all this, gang, United States of America, the land of the free, that shit crazy. Like, come on now. I mean, because at the end of the day, it's like this. Y'all been lying the whole time. Y'all been lying about the UFOs. Y'all been lying about everything, man. And now that everybody is paying close attention, we got our eyes open. Now they want to steer us another way. Now they want to tell us something different. Now they want to tell us, look, none of what y'all talking about is true. None of the shit y'all believe in is real. Man, we can't keep believing in what the government telling us. mean, for the simple fact is they lying already to the Pentagon. They lying to the congressman. They lying to the president. Nothing they saying is believable. And at the end of the day, they telling us this, that, and the other. Y'all got MK Ultra going on, the UFOs, the UAPs. Like, gang, what can we believe from you motherfuckers? For real.
We know of, and they ignored their own watchdog. Let me be clear what I believe that we are dealing with here. Administering drugs to people without their knowledge or consent, subjecting humans to psychological torture, and using prisoners and hospital patients as non-consenting research subjects. These are crimes against humanity. The Central Intelligence Agency committed them, and then the director of the CIA was ordering the destruction of evidence. Today, we will hear from two witnesses who have spent years unraveling the cover-up that our government ordered. Stephen Kinzer documented the life and crimes of Sidney Gottlieb in his book, Prisoner of Chief, and Tom O'Neill spent over 20 years investigating what the CIA buried and what they obscured that, in my mind, constitute some of the worst notorious crimes against humanity in the 20th century. Their persistence in the research in this hearing is possible simply because they are patriots. The American people deserve the complete record. The victims and their families deserve acknowledgement, accountability, and justice. And this Congress has a constitutional obligation to make sure that the CIA never does this again. With that, I'm going to be opening up first questions, and I'll hold my questions to the end to Representative Burleson. But before I do pass it, I did want to just note a few weeks ago, we did receive reports. There's some back and forth regarding the CIA and ODNI pertaining to new MK Ultra boxes that were discovered. Myself and Representative Burleson did go down to Langley. We did meet with the CIA, and the CIA is currently in the process of declassifying newly found documentation, although the documents, and I feel comfortable enough to share here, pertain specifically to a forgery program that was being housed under MK Ultra. So as soon as those files are released, we will be putting out notification with your help to also comb through some of the newly released documents, but I did want to give you a quick update. Without further ado, I would like to I would like to now recognize Representative Eric Burleson for his questions. Go ahead. Without objection, Representative Perry and Representative Higgins from Pennsylvania and Louisiana is waived on to the committee for the purpose of questioning the witnesses at today's subcommittee hearing. I need the opening statement. Yeah. And I'd like to now recognize Dr. Kinzer and the witnesses for the opening statements. I have to swear them in. Stephen Kinzer is a historian, journalist, and author of Poisoner-in-Chief, Sidney Gottlieb, and the CIA's Search for Mind Control. Tom O'Neill is an investigative journalist who authored Chaos, Charles Manson, the CIA.
Mind control. That was the first thing that caught my attention, mind control. What the hell y'all mean by mind control? What's going on? I mean, no drum roll, because I want to know what they mean by mind control. Now, at the end of the day, if they said they can control people's minds, then what the fuck is they talking about? Where in the hell do we get the word mind control from, or the program? And what do they mean, the CIA and the government? You see what I'm saying? That's a lot of shit that they don't even be clear with us on. It's a lot of things that they don't be transparent on, gang. And they want you to believe in your government. They want you to believe in the people you paying taxes to. At the end of the day, shit, can we believe in the people we really pay taxes to? Because the people that's accepting the taxes can't even believe in the people who's creating the laws behind these taxes, yet alone the bills behind the governmental rules. You understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, like, can we trust the government? Because at the end of the day, man, it seems like they've been lying to us for over 80 years about the UFOs and the aliens and the UAPs. What else is we being lied to about? Mind control now? Let's dive into this and let's see what they're talking about right now.
CIA and the secret history of the 60s. And Elizabeth Genexi, did I say that right, ma'am? Genexi is an independent consultant and former senior program officer at the National Institute of Health. We look forward to hearing what you have to say today on this important subject. Pursuant to Committee Rules 9G, the witnesses will please stand and raise their right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Let the record show that the witnesses answered in the affirmative. Thank you. You may now take your seat. We appreciate you being here today. Let me remind the witnesses that we have read your opening statements and it will appear in full in the hearing record. Please limit your oral statements to 5 minutes. However, if it does go over, we will not be gaveling you out. As a reminder, please press the button on the microphone in front of you so that it is illuminated and members can hear you. When you begin to speak, the light in front of you again will turn green. After 4 minutes, the light will turn yellow, and when the red light comes on, that means that your 5 minutes has expired, and we will ask you to please wrap it up. I would now like to recognize Stephen Kinzer for his opening statement.
Right now, somewhere in your vendor master file, there's a bank account that has been changed. It looks legitimate.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairman. Let me begin by expressing my gratitude to this task force for confronting the enormous issue of overclassification of government documents and the culture of secrecy that enables it. I'm especially gratified by your interest in MK Ultra, the project the CIA carried out through the 1950s in an attempt to find the secret of mind control. MK Ultra was one of the most secret government programs in American history.
Now, to be able to find the secret of mind control, that's different, gang. That's some different shit right there. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. You let them tell it, they can't control minds. You let them tell it, you feel me? Ain't no such thing as control, right? Well, I think we just been sliced into a new gym because at the end of the day, we just found out that, yo, they got a program and they funded the program to control minds. Not just your mind, my mind, the people that work with them mind, everybody around the world, globally. And at the end of the day, who the hell was stopping this? Who was putting an end to this? Was any, hey, who's to say that they don't got a fucking program that allows them to read thoughts? That allows them to read mind thoughts? You understand what I'm saying? If we going this far, they can do mind control. What else wouldn't make us believe that they can fucking read thoughts? Like, why wouldn't they, gang? I'm gonna put that shit, I'm gonna make it make sense, because at the end of the day, what else is y'all doing? Y'all got scientists and y'all fund these scientists, billions of dollars the CIA got, unlimited funds. And at the end of the day, when you dealing with people who got unlimited funds, gang, ain't no goddamn limit to what you can create. You understand what I'm saying? So I be doing my deep research on this shit. I deep dive on this shit. You feel me? Shit like this, I live, sleep, shit, and breathe. You hear me? I wake up to this. You hear me? I go to sleep to this because, honestly, we need to know what's going on around us. Not too many black people from Milwaukee, your state, California, Michigan, Detroit. Not too many black people know what's taking place around the world, around, you know, the aerospace, around the underwater facility. Nobody know. Nobody doing a deep dive on it. Nobody really cared to do their deep dive. Everybody trying to catch up with each other. And that's the crazy part. But we finna keep going with this video because, like I said, it's an hour long and we want to know what's taking place. We want to deep dive into this shit. We want to know the lies they telling. We want to know the lies they telling the congressman, the Pentagon. You feel me? We want to know all the above, gang. Fuck what you talking about. Let's go.
The chemist who directed it, Sidney Gottlieb, lived in total anonymity. My book, Poisoner in Chief, may be the most complete account of MK Ultra that exists in public, but I'm painfully aware that I have discovered only a small portion of what MK Ultra was and what Sidney Gottlieb did. In 1951, the CIA hired Gottlieb and directed him to launch what became MK Ultra. Gottlieb believed that in order to find a way to implant a new mind into someone's brain, you first had to find a way to destroy the mind that was in there already. In its search for ways to destroy a human mind and body, MK Ultra conducted the most extreme experiments on human beings that have ever been carried out by a US government agency. By any standard, they qualify as medical torture. These experiments took place in prisons, clinics, and safe houses in the United States, in Europe, in Asia, and even in Latin America. Officers of MK Ultra were authorized to travel to foreign countries, preferably those under formal or informal U.S. occupation, and ask the local CIA station to provide them with expendables, human beings who would not be missed if they disappeared. Gottlieb had what amounted to a license to kill issued by the U.S. government.
So now I know y'all remember that movie Expendables, gang. I know a lot of y'all remember that movie. Expendables. They had a project talking about expendables. They had a project asking for expendable human beings. You feel me? That will not be missed if they go, missing. That will not be, you feel me, looked for or like. Now, I heard this before, but I heard this through other scientists, other neuroscientists, or other whistleblowers. You understand what I'm saying? But not, never in a meeting. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's crazy, because they lied to us like, look, they don't, none of this take place. Bullshit. They got people who's expendable, people who they can get rid of. And if they get rid of them, gang, ain't nobody finna go looking for them. Ain't nobody finna even care about them. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, let's keep going, gang. Let's keep diving.
Number of MK Ultra victims, nor the number of those who were experimented to death, is known. Gottlieb, as a result of this license to kill, might have been the most powerful unknown American of the 20th century. Some information about MK Ultra spilled out during the 1970s, but senior CIA officers had intentionally let Gottlieb operate without supervision, so they were able to claim that they knew nothing about his excesses. This was a way for the CIA to deny its institutional role in MK Ultra and to portray it misleadingly as the product of one man's.
And let me switch the what's the name is in. Hold up, because I know it worked better down here. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Put it in this. It worked a little better. I don't know why, but
sadism or excessive zeal. Investigating MK Ultra is challenging because when Gottlieb and his mentor Richard Helms left the CIA in 1973, they illegally ordered that its records be destroyed. Soon afterwards, under DCI Stansfield Turner, a CIA analyst, as you pointed out, Madam Chairman, discovered a cache of MK Ultra documents hidden among financial records.
Actually, it's still ugly. You hear me? Let me try something. It's still ugly. I hate that. The quality of the video. That's what I hate. You know what I'm saying? When you try to change the quality of the video, you get the plan different. Let me see what this look like in HD though. Let's see, y'all.
Turner credited that analyst with doing a very diligent job of Sherlock Holmesing. That same diligence, I believe, could bring results today. One of the great mysteries of MK Ultra has to do with the death in 1953 of an MK Ultra scientist, Frank Olson, who had announced his intention to quit the project. His plunge from a New York hotel room was described in the press as the suicide of an Army scientist. He was not an Army scientist. He worked for the CIA, and evidence suggests that his death may have.
So it sounds like not only was they killing scientists, in modern day in 2026 and 2025, but they was killing scientists way back then. You feel me? When MK Ultra first started. Now that's some scary shit right there. That's some spooky shit, because at the end of the day, they made it seem like to us that, this shit just started when the missing scientists came about, and, General McCaslin and all the missing and dead scientists that popped up. You feel me? Like, what the hell is this taking place? It sounds like they backdooring the shit out of people, and at the end of the day, once we learn why they backdooring people, then will we be able to figure out what's taking place, or what's going on behind the MK Ultra and the CERN project and all these other projects that they got going on. You understand what I'm saying? because at the end of the day, I wonder, like, do anybody else? Yeah, of course, everybody probably know what's going on. Definitely, if they dealing, you know, in this field of work that these other people is working in. If they is operating around MK Ultra, anti-gravity, if they operating around UAPs, UFOs, I guarantee these motherfuckers is going up missing. They going up, you feel me, murdered, dead. You know what I'm saying? Bodies being found and discovered all over.
Have been a suicide. So there could be hidden documents that could illuminate this case. I would also point out that in addition to searching for unknown documents, this committee could do a tremendous service by simply asking for the end of redactions on the documents that we now have. There are reams of documents about MK Ultra that have heavy sections redacted. In the 1970s, this was justified by the argument that it had only been 20 years since these terrible things had happened and revealing details might affect national security. Now 70 years have passed. That argument can no longer be valid. So I would urge this committee to try to fill out all the blank spaces in the documents that we have, because we know that is there. This task force could also consider trying to determine whether some new incarnation of MK Ultra exists today. When the main phase of MK Ultra drew to a close in the early 1960s, Sidney Gottlieb concluded that it had failed. That in fact, there is no such thing as mind control. Even if he was right, however, he may have been right only at that time. In the many decades since then, there have been enormous advances in cyber technology, in artificial intelligence, in neuroscience. Covert agencies may have access now to tools for mind control that Sidney Gottlieb could not even have imagined. It may well have been true in 1963 that mind control is a myth, or whether it's still true is uncertain. And that question,
honestly, I don't think it's a myth. That's just something I don't believe. I don't think it's a myth at all. I believe it exists, and I believe they still using it right now. I believe they still mind controlling people. And honestly, you can tell, you can look in people's eyes. That's why these kids and other people be talking about NPCs and people with no souls. Y'all think they just gonna come up with that shit from nothing? Like, make that shit make sense, guys. For real. Right.
Whether mind control might now be possible under our new circumstances is something that has presumably occurred to scientists who work for secret services, including our own. This task force has a chance to connect the past to the future. A renewed effort to find MK Ultra documents from the 1950s and to fill out the redactions of those that have been released might shed new light on how the CIA operated during that period. It could also inform a new inquiry into whether any mind control projects are now underway inside the U.S. security apparatus. That might help prevent the emergence of a 21st century MK Ultra that could be even more destructive than the original. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kinzer. I now recognize Tom O'Neill for his opening statement.
Thank you, Chairman. Almost 50 years. Oh, sorry. Should I start over? Thank you, Chairwoman Luna and members of the committee. It's a privilege to be here today. Almost 50 years ago, the last congressional hearings into MK Ultra took place just a short walk from here in the Dirksen Senate office building. At those hearings, convened in August and September of 1977, representatives of the CIA told Congress and the American people that its 25-year effort to control human behavior had been a colossal failure. Because I believe Congress was never told the truth about what this program actually achieved. In fact, I believe the agency misled Congress in 1977 when it characterized MKUltra as a failure. My name is Tom O'Neill, and in 1999, I was...
Shit, honestly, I believe they misled Congress the whole time. I mean, since they probably ran into the UFOs, if that's the truth, since 1937, I believe they've been misleading Congress. I don't think that they just started misleading Congress. I think they've been doing that. I think they've been lying to Congress and the Pentagon, you feel me, as long as they could, because they got people on the team. They got people that work with them on the same team that's willing to lie to Congress and the Pentagon for a certain amount of dollars on their check, you understand what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, I know damn well for a fact this ain't the first time they lied. I think everybody in this room know that they've been lying to Congress, you feel me? You can look at this woman right here, and see how it's turned. Like, they've been lying for years, gang. This is just something that's just got discovered, you feel me? And at the end of the day, I think we are just getting to the bottom of the disclosure. And not even the bottom, but like probably the peak, the top. You feel me? The pinnacle of, you know, where they hold some of the biggest snowball effects at. You understand what I'm saying? But when it start, you know, unwinding, I think we will, you know, be revealed, you know, a lot of unknown knowledge, a lot of forbidden knowledge that was once forbidden, as they say, quote unquote. But at the end of the day, let's keep going.
I accepted a magazine assignment to write a story about murders committed by a group of hippies called the Manson family. For those unfamiliar with this horrific episode of American history, in the summer of 1969, 4 young people acting on the orders of a cult leader named Charles Manson went to the home of movie director Roman Polanski and murdered everyone they found there, including his 8.5-month pregnant wife, the actress Sharon Tate. The victims were complete strangers to their killers. The following night, Manson's followers murdered another couple in the same grisly fashion. At the time I accepted the assignment, I'd never heard of MKUltra, and I wouldn't for another 2 years after I'd missed countless deadlines, lost the assignment, and fallen down a nightmarish rabbit hole trying to answer the question I couldn't quite shake. How had Manson, a barely literate ex-con, acquired the ability to persuade ordinary young people to murder complete strangers simply because he had told them to? The pursuit of the answer to that question led me to Dr. Louis Julian West, known to his friends as John.
Now, it's deep, you feel me? And I know it may look like I was just, you know, zoning, but I wasn't. I was listening deeply what he was saying in detail. And everything he's saying, it sounds like it could be the truth, but then there was some goddamn discrepancies in between the truth. You understand what I'm saying? Whoever he was talking to was giving him maybe some falsified information, just a little bit, but I think at the end of the day, he was probably picking up on everything that they were saying and listening in detail himself, but he was picking up on some falsified shit himself, and then he was understanding too, but we finna keep going and let him finish right here.
West was one of the most influential psychiatrists in America. During his career, he crossed paths with some of the most controversial events of the 20th century, including the Patty Hearst kidnapping case and the aftermath of the John F. Kennedy assassination investigation. In 1977, West was one of 7 academic researchers named in a front-page New York Times story alleging that the CIA had used American universities, hospitals, and prisons as secret laboratories for experiments involving LSD and other drugs on unwitting human subjects. West vigorously denied the allegations. He acknowledged that the agency had approached him, but insisted he had refused because he said LSD was too dangerous and unpredictable to be used on humans. He added that he limited all of his research with LSD to animals. The revelations in the Times led directly to the congressional hearings held later that year. West's denials, however, were effective. He was never investigated, and his name never came up at the hearings. I'll spare you the long and tedious story of how my Manson reporting led me to West, except to say that I eventually learned that in 1967, when Manson transformed into the cult leader we are familiar with today, he and his followers were receiving free medical care at a clinic in San Francisco, where West had established a base of operations for a research project he was conducting nearby.
When people hear the words print on demand, they picture a graphic slapped onto a basic tee. But that's not.
After becoming intrigued by the allegations against West, I learned that UCLA, his last academic home, had inherited his paper following his death in 1999. Nearly 2 months and more than 200 boxes later, I found the proverbial needle in a haystack: correspondence between West and Dr. Sidney Gottlieb, the architect of MKUltra. The letters begin in 1953, just 2 months after CIA Director Allen Dulles authorized the program, and while West was stationed at the Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio, Texas, where he was chief psychiatrist at the base hospital. In his first letter to Gottlieb, West proposed conducting experiments on unwitting human subjects, including military personnel, prisoners, and psychiatric patients at the base hospital. He then outlined the experiments themselves in 6 more pages that could have been written by Joseph Mengele. Using LSD in combination with hypnosis, West proposed inducing confusion, amnesia, and specific mental disorders in people who would remember nothing of their interaction with him afterward. He sought to develop techniques to extract true information and implant false information in unwilling subjects, and to alter the attitudes and beliefs of, quote, previously loyal individuals. In other words, to completely switch their allegiance from one group or leader to another. But it was another sentence at the end of that letter that stopped me cold. These experiments, he wrote, must eventually be put to test in practical trials in the field. Gottlieb's response could hardly have been more enthusiastic. My good friend, he wrote, I had been wondering whether your apparent rapid and comprehensive grasp of our problems could possibly be real. You have indeed developed an admirably accurate picture of exactly what we are after. West replied that there was no more vital undertaking conceivable in these times. There was another document in West's papers that had even more significant implications. It was a 14-page report that West wrote in 1956, just 3 years after he contracted with the CIA. In the report, West described administering LSD and other drugs in conjunction with hypnosis on unwitting human subjects, and then he made a remarkable claim. He announced that he had learned how to replace true memories with false memories in people without their knowledge. In other words, he clarified, it has been found to be feasible to take the memory of a definite event in the life of an individual and, through hypnotic suggestion, bring about the subsequent conscious recall to the effect that this event never actually took place, but that a different fictional event.
That shit right there is different, gang. You understand what I'm saying? That's some different shit, you understand? Like, to be able to replace somebody's true memories with some false ones, like, what? Come on now. How's that? Where's that leaving, man? At the end of the day, man, I feel like this story is to get deeper, you feel me? The deeper it get, y'all gonna have to dive back into my podcast. You understand what I'm saying? To watch part 2. I'm not finna give y'all all of that right now. Yeah, I can't do that, right? I can't. So therefore, y'all make sure y'all dive back in, man. I love y'all. Y'all keep y'all heads up, stay safe, stay out the way, you feel me? And make sure you're paying attention to the MKUltra effects. You understand what I'm saying? I love y'all. I am out.